that's got to be tough. Like that's got to be hard to, and the resiliency that you talk about, your resiliency has had to have fortified itself over the years. How did you get to the place of knowing that like I could do everything I'm supposed to do and it's not personal, but I'm going to have to go look for a new job, tell my wife and kids, hey, we're moving to wherever it might be.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, there's no easy way around it. It's the worst. It's the worst part of the job. It doesn't make sense. It will never be justified. But at the same time, another guy's going through that too, and I just took his spot. Like that's how
Perspective.
that's what we signed up for. As hard as it is to say, it's in the small detailed fine print on the bottom that nobody reads. And that's the biggest thing you have to deal with. Other than that, I mean, I think it's building a resilient kid that I have. I have 3 kids. They make friends quick. They learn how to get adjusted to a school quick. They get on new teams quick. And in life, I think that's going to end up benefiting them completely, and it's going to give them an edge. So I have to look at it like that, because if I don't, it gets bad. Yeah.
You just be pissed off all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming your wife has to be an unbelievable human to know that, every year you could walk through the door and be like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, No.
Yep.
So that's gotta be a hard conversation to have with her. So she's gotta be a unbelievable human to be able to say, okay, like we're gonna do this together.
Yeah. And she's been with me since the first South Florida internship. So
Okay. So she's no rookie. She's no rookie to the situation.
no rookie, knows how it works. And she's been the only reason this whole thing works.
I agree. I tell people that all the time. Like it's like the team. You're only as strong as the weakest link. Like if you're not associated or attached to the right partner in life, like life can be really difficult. But if you get associated or attached to that right person, I mean, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I've got one of those at home too, where whatever the adversity, we're going to get through that together. So you're a lucky man in that aspect. But I would assume that meeting you and knowing you, that's part of the package. Like this is the guy that you are, and you're always going to go to the next level and try to make it the best you can for your family, yourself, and for the young men that you get to meet. What's it like going to a new school? I mean, after you get over the being pissed off and the, hey, this doesn't make any sense, and the moving trucks and all of that jazz, and the first day in that new facility, is it just a whole, because I'm thinking about your psychology, like gotta be tough to walk into a new facility. Sometimes you don't know the other coaches, you don't know anybody. You're just the strength and conditioning guy. How do you set the stage for that?
It's exciting. I mean, I really do get excited about it, and I'm thankful, truly thankful for it. And I know how hard these jobs are to get, like, especially like, I mean, to not have a gap in a year so far of not being able to find something has been a blessing, because there's a lot of coaches that are amazing that the gaps come and they can't get anything after they get let go. So first of all, just like the real story is like, I got my first head job in North Texas, then I got fired that year. It was year 5 of their staff, and if they didn't win, I already knew that going in. Then I got a head job at Louisiana Lafayette, again, year 5 in that program. I got to last 2 years there because we went to a bowl game, and then we got fired. That was what really hurt. Like that, to me, it was like, what are we doing? Like, this is kind of crazy. I felt like I really did a good job, and that's where it really came from. And then the Buffalo opportunity came to be a head guy again, and no one was excited to move there. Like everyone was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, but when I met the team, and when I met the coaching staff, and when I met, all the people in that building, it was like, all right, this is going to work. I just know it. And it did. And it just hit the jackpot there. And we won 10 games and broke every record, and national strength coach of the year. And then you go to Georgia Tech, but still you're moving,
Right.
You're still like, you're moving happily this time.
Yeah.
But it's still rough. Like if you win too much, it's rough. If you lose too much, it's rough. It's like, you can't stay anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I got to think that's part of your day-to-day contract thing. I think you have to probably position that in your own brain of like, all I can do is what I can do today.
Right.
And if I just keep moving forward that way, and I think that's such a great message too, because I'm assuming that you're delivering that to the players. It's like, hey, like, we're only as good as what we're going to do today. Like what we did yesterday or last season is really going to be irrelevant. So we got to keep continuing to move forward. let's talk about your motivation really quick. Like, I'm a big, I think motivation is important, but I think discipline is the linchpin of success, because when motivation fades, really discipline's all you've got, right? So it's like the whole Jocko quote, discipline equals freedom. How do you teach both of those? Because I think, and how do you teach yourself both of those? Like, you strike me as an uber disciplined guy. From, you're a super fit guy, your messaging straight, it's crisp, it's clean. But there's got to be days you wake up and you're like, coach don't feel like being coached today, right? And those are the days that matter. What do you do on those days?
Um, I think like all the people that say discipline over motivate, like I get it. I know what they're saying, but like I do believe you got to be motivated to stay disciplined.
Oh,
Like I think
yeah,
that's
I think it's a scale like this. They move all the time.
yeah, and I feel like if you're not going for anything or like if there's no goal in mind, it's yeah, you're gonna lose motivation and then you're probably gonna lose discipline. Like I feel like they go hand in hand. Like when you don't feel like it, you don't want to stay disciplined either. And I guess like you can still stay on your routine and your routine carries you through it blindly. But um, for me, it's just I love my job. I love what I do. Every day, I can't wait to do the kids' workout. Now, there's days where you go to bed later than you wanted to because your kids, and those days are rough. The alarm hits quick.
Yeah,
But then once you're up, I don't think about it once anymore. Like it's over.
I
I'm
agree.
going. I'm going to the dark. I'm running the stadium. I'm doing their lift, and then I'm coaching all day.
Yeah. So
So,
you do it anyway. Like on those tough days, you just do it anyway.
oh yeah, there's
Yeah,
no excuse.
right. I love that. I mean, because that's got to transition from you down the line. I mean, because you talk about toughness, resiliency, all of those things. And I'm assuming when these players know that you're the first guy in and the last guy out, like that creates something inside of them that makes them want to show up for you. And you mentioned earlier, you said the word fun, which I think, especially in the world of working out, like, you got to keep it fresh. You got to keep it fun for yourself and, for you and for the players, because it can get monotonous, right? It's like, we're going to do power cleans again today, coach. Like it's, that can wear on you, especially at the end of a season or the end of a long off season. What are some of the ways? I read one of your articles in the Men's Journal, but how do you keep that fun level at extremes?
Man, like I consider like what I write for the guys very challenging. Like it's not easy. Like guys have come off the street and try our program. In the dumpster puking. Like it's just a normal workout. It's not for everyone, but like when they get trained up to a certain level, it's so much fun to watch them. And then every Friday I've ever been a head strength coach, I've always wanted to do a theme workout. So every Friday there are themes in the off season of different purposes that I want to drill through them. Like, okay, today I got 4 to a rack. You're going through every event with those 4 guys on that rack. You got to get this amount of reps together. You can't do more than 20 reps at a time. Communicate, keep track of the reps you're on. And then you move to the next event. And then you move to the next. And everyone's racing,
Yeah.
trying to get this done. And it's like a energy you can't describe. And I'm not changing how hard the work is. It's just we're doing it with a purpose and a smile on our face. So
Yeah.
I think that's where like people get confused. Oh, they're dressing up. That's ridiculous. That has nothing to do with winning. You know what? I can't help you there, buddy. But you know what? My kids are having a blast.
Right.
We are working our tails off. So it's been a lot of fun doing that stuff. And I think years later, the calls you get, they're not about how many games we won. They're about the Fridays, the messages, the team
Yeah.
building. That's the ticket.
Yeah, I had a lot of coaches in my life, and my high school strength and conditioning coach and my college strength and conditioning coach. If I'm thinking back and in memory lane, like those two guys really stand out because of the connection. Right? There's something about the weights, and there's something about those struggles of running gassers and bleachers and things like that you develop a bond with the person who's putting you through that nonsense at the time, right? And so you do have a really strong connection. And I'm assuming that you've got players, from the beginning, and back in Mississippi State, and probably even before that, that have gravitated towards you. You've probably changed their life outside of football. Because let's be honest, most guys don't go to the league, right? So you're trying to build men, you're trying to build leaders, you're trying to build good husbands and things of that nature. What's the importance of that to you?
Well, like it's like so one thing I've learned through this whole thing is like conflict brings you closer to people. And if you create it in a healthy way, those kids, no matter how hard they went against each other that day, they're gonna put their arm around each other at the end of it. And so like I've done a lift with several teams called the tap out lift where it'd be you versus me in 14 different events. And I got you paired up with just that guy the whole day. So these events are like, they take you to the limit where the only way I win is if you quit. And it's basic. They're all safe. They're all tested. And it's your limit. Can you take it to your limit and then beat him? So 135 bench press on the whistle, like you're both going at the same time. Someone has to stop at some point. Wall sit with 90 pounds on your lap. Someone's going to cave first.
Right.
It's just that simple stuff but when you pair it up and it's so personal, at the end of that war that you just went through with that guy, I guarantee you're close with that guy the rest of your life and you'll never forget it. And that dude might be in your wedding because who do you do that with?
Right.
Who are you ever going to do something like that with? And that's the stuff I try to do. I mean, it's as real as it can get, but I try to stage stuff like that through real adversity that can create real bonds.
I'm assuming too, as from the position that you have, you're probably one of the first guys that people come to, right? Like if there's a situation, a problem, or whatever it is, because you've developed that bond over, the off season, the in season workouts, all of that. Like, has that grown for you? The importance of who you are in the program? Because I mean, yeah, people look at it, oh, he's the strength and conditioning coach. He's just, he's the meathead version of the program. He makes them run, makes them lift, and then that's just it. I don't think they realize the importance of like the opportunity for a psychological boost that you're giving these guys.
I mean, you're the culture changer. You are the guy that has the pulse in the whole building. You're the feeling it is. You're the message. You have to, you're the ground level of the program. It can't stand on anything but the ground. So it's like you build it from the ground and then the whole coaching staff, once you build it, they take it and they coach it and they hopefully, can win with it. But even if it doesn't work, they will never forget how the ground was built with them and the vibe it was and the energy it was and the closeness of their teammates it was. That to me is priceless no matter what the scoreboard does.
I'm going to be respectful of your time, Coach. I'm going to get you out of here quickly, but I want to ask a couple more questions. So leadership, I know, is really important to you. You're a leader and you're developing leaders. And, so what's the relationship like? And I'm assuming it's been different at every stop, but between you and the head coach, like has the level of that relationship dictated to the level of, congruency inside the program? And because do all head coaches realize that, hey, this is my guy, like he's my psychologist, he's my everything unit, because he gets all the guys, like you said. What's been the relationship between you and the leaders that you've got to work for?
Yeah, they've all been very different, and I've been lucky to deal with all kinds of people. But some, they completely trust you. They don't bother you. They never really even ask a question. They just trust you. And that's a healthy weight room. I mean, I'm gonna do exactly what I've always dreamed of doing and believe it the way it should be done. But you also have coaches that want to have their say in what you're doing and why and when, and could completely flip your schedule and it was the opposite of what you planned, and you got to adapt, overcome, and still make it work and not let anyone know about it. So there's definitely leadership obstacles you got to get past in roles like this all the time. And I don't think there's been one job where I've been just straight path the whole way with the head coach I've worked with, and it's been all rosy.
Yeah.
There's conversations, there's a lot that goes on, but I'd say for the most part, I've been very lucky to work for the people I have.
That's cool. And when you get those, when you come to a new team, how important is it that you figure out that landscape pretty quickly? Or is it is it always the inverse? Is it dictated to you pretty quickly how this is going to go? Like,
The interview tells me a lot.
okay,
Like I got a pretty good pulse on the problems here before, things they didn't like, things that are still going on, and what I should watch out for. Like I get a pretty quick idea the first couple weeks I'm there, and try to really ask questions about it.
yeah. Have you, with all the different opportunities that you've had, I'm sure you take a little piece of something new. Because I mean, you strike me as a learner and as a evolver and as somebody who's consistently trying to be the best version of yourself. Like, have you taken new pieces of yourself to these new places you've gone, like new maybe strategies, traditions, things of that nature?
Absolutely. Like I love going to the national clinic every year, listening to different speakers, taking notes, going back, putting it in there. I love listening to podcasts on what different coaches are doing, what times a year, and then I love calling people. Like I love reaching out and just asking them like a whole bunch of questions I already wrote down,
Yeah.
and because we're all in the same boat, it's just I want to know like when and why and how, and think about what I'm doing at that point in the year. And I'm always trying to make it different. Like if I'm somewhere twice in a row, like a year two or a year three, I'm always trying to make it feel different that off season than the one before. So also like myself getting better, but making the kids feel like, all right, this is fresh. This is good. I like this.
Yeah. Why strength and conditioning? Like, I mean, in going into the coaching world, like, why did you go that direction as opposed to position coach or, the other pathways that you could have taken? Like, what was the model behind that?
I love football a lot. I loved playing it. I loved making plays, but the more I learned myself, I realized I really love the work that it takes to play football. And that's where I was like, all right, this is actually a profession. Like I can actually like get guys ready to play the game. And that I didn't need anything else. Like that was plan A all the way, and I'm still on it.
I love that. Was there a strength and conditioning coach along the way that like you saw and you're like, hey, this guy's made a difference in my life? Or was it just kind of like one of those things that just happened just naturally through your love of the stuff that doesn't get glamorized, right? In order to get on the field.
Yeah. So my mentors, well, actually, the first internship I did at South Florida, I saw the potential of doing this one day. That created the vision.
Yeah.
And then my next internship at Virginia, that's what sold it. Like that was like, all right, I've never seen anyone like this guy, and this is like unbelievable. So this this is what I'm doing. And
That's cool.
it was done. Yeah, I looked up to that guy, and I ended up being his GA at Mississippi State when he got that job, and I was also his assistant at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got lucky with who I worked for.
I think that's super important. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the players that have got the opportunity to have you as their coach and their leader probably feel that exact same way, no matter what they're doing in life now, because they've been around somebody who was a model of, resiliency and strength and, humility and gratitude and doing things the right way. Last question for you. I love your touch the line video and how important that is, like with the idea that it's when nobody's really watching, right? Are you going to be the guy who goes? Because I mean, as a player, I mean, you can probably remember back to days when you were running gassers or sprints or whatever it was, and there was always one or two guys that you could watch, and they wouldn't just go quite to the line,
Yep.
right? No matter how, no matter, and it was the worst when you were the most tired, right? Like, how have you inbred that philosophy into your life and your coaching style?
Yeah, like I always say it's just like if you put your hands at a 10-degree angle and you it's not a big problem at first. Like you don't notice it. It's not doesn't matter. But as soon as you start raising those hands up even higher at that 10-degree angle, as soon as it gets a little far apart, you keep doing these little things wrong. Then you get to a spot where you have no idea how you got there, and then you're not where you want to be. So everyone like thinks it's nothing. Right? What's the point of like that's the point. Like the field goal didn't mean to hit the post, but we lost.
Right.
You know, the guy didn't mean to jump off sides on 3rd and 4, but he did. And we lost. Like there's a difference between 8-3 and 3-8, and it's that close.
Yeah.
Like no one cares how close you were. They just see you were terrible.
Yeah.
Your improvement, it doesn't, nobody cares. So if you don't touch the line, I care. I care because I'm going to fix it now, so I don't have to fix it later when it's too late.
Yeah.
And you care too.
Yeah, the margin from victory to failure is razor thin. At the high, once you get into the higher levels, and I couldn't agree with you. Like I'm a touch the line guy in life. Like, and I think that message that you're facilitating and implementing into these young guys' lives, if they're picking it up, is going to go a long way. Because like you said, even in real life, like this thing we're doing on a daily basis, the line matters, right? And you can see the people that don't touch the line versus what the ones that do. Coach, I'm beyond. I can talk to you for hours. I'm gonna pump out the book, Firelighters 365. I'll put the Amazon links. I think everybody should grab a copy just for those daily motivational messages for just yourself, and then the articulation of those to the people that you get to lead on a daily basis. So thanks for being the guy you are. I think you're an awesome guy. And like I said earlier, I wasn't kidding. I would come play for you tomorrow just because I can tell the kind of man you are, and you'd be the kind of guy that could be like, Jay, I need you to do this. And my answer would always be yes.
I appreciate it, man. Truly thank you to be on your podcast, man. You're doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it, Coach. And good luck this season. Kick some butt this off season. I can't wait to. I'm a fan now, so I'm going to be a Charlotte football guy. Probably going to get myself a shirt just so I can support you, and hope you guys have a really good year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. We'll see you soon. The show, I want to take a quick moment to talk about the sponsor of this episode. It is very dear and near and close to my heart because it is Lori's company, Spa Star. If you ever had the opportunity to watch someone create something from a thought or a vision and make this magical thing actually come to life, well, then you'll know why I'm so extremely proud of her and why I'm so excited to have her sponsoring the Thrive Forever Fit show. If you've listened to my podcast, then you probably heard her on episode 259. If you haven't heard that, I would go listen to episode 259 as soon as you finish this episode. She talks about the story of how she created it, the adversity she overcame, the challenges that she worked through, and just the inspirational story that I know you're absolutely going to love. But what Spa Star is a luxury wrap. And it was created as a spa wrap for people who were getting beauty treatments. But what we found out is it is a piece for everyday life. People are wearing it as swimsuit cover-ups, resort wear, just to get ready in the mornings or for that special event. It is the most unique piece. And I've actually worn this thing several times. I was the actual first model for this. Maybe I'll show you guys some photos of that when the time is right. But it is such a cool creation called the Get Ready Wrap by Spa Star. And because you're a listener, you get 15% off today because you support me. So just go to spastar.net, spastar.net, the word spa, the word star.net. And at the checkout, enter Thrive 15, THRIVE 15, and you're going to get 15% off of your Get Ready wrap. So many of my clients already have these and absolutely love them. We're selling them all over the country and all over the world, for that matter, to high-end luxury spas and to people just like you that are using them inside of their own homes. They're traveling with them. They're using them at the pool. It's so really just unbelievably cool to see and witness. And I'm so blessed to be a part of it. And I'm so blessed to have Lori actually sponsoring my podcast, which I think is really, really cool. So go check out Spa Star. I know you're going to love it. It is the coolest thing ever. And guys, this isn't just for ladies. This is one of the coolest gifts you could get any female in your life, for that matter. If Lori hadn't have created it, I would buy them for her as a gift to show her my love and appreciation. So dudes, if you're listening and you need to get a gift for your significant other or some special person in your life, go to spastar.net, grab a Get Ready wrap. There's all kinds of colors. There's black, there's sage, there's a berry color, there's a gosh, I just went blank. There's a kind of a greeny, kind of avocado-y color. Really cool. You're definitely going to love these, I promise. So go to spastar.net, check it out, support Lori. And Lori, thank you for sponsoring the show. All right, let's get to the action. I hope you guys enjoyed that show as much as I did. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful and so grateful that you take the time to listen to the show every week, and it means the absolute world to me. If you've got a little bit of time, it would mean everything if you would go and give the show a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on, as well as share it with a friend or family member that you think might find value in the show. And again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being an awesome human and listening to the Overweight Mind podcast. Thanks, and we'll see you again next week. All right, bye.